So for the legs, we're going to do very similar to the ears, and we're just going to attach them the exact same way to the body, like this. Okay, so they're going to be about 1 or 2 stitches apart by 1 or 2 stitches apart, okay, on the body. We're going to take your string and we're going to create another magic ring. So to do that, let me show you again. Take your 2 fingers, yarn over once, yarn over twice. Hold it there. Take your hook, go underneath the first, pull the second one through. Hold everything there as you take out your fingers. Like this. So here's our ring, this is our tail, this is the part that's attached to the ball, and this is how it's positioned. Now you're going to just chain to secure. Now we're going to do 4 single crochet into this ring just like before. So here's our ring, insert your hook into it, pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's our 4 single crochet. Now we're going to pull the tail tight. Into the first stitch of the round, we're going to do a increase. So that's 2 single crochet into this first stitch, 1 and 2. Into the second stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. That's 1. Into the third stitch, we're going to do an increase. That's 1 and 2. And into the fourth stitch here, we're going to do a single crochet. That's going to increase us to a total of 6 stitches all the way around. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the first stitch of the round. And now we're just going to do a slip stitch into this first stitch of the round. Like that. And we're done the foot. So you're going to flip it inside out. Cut this tail shorter so you can stick it inside the body. And then this, you're going to cut a long tail for sewing. Okay, like that. And then pull the loop to close it off. Okay. Now for sewing, we're just going to, as I said before, just sew it onto the body like so, with 1 or 2 stitches in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that, so that it looks like this at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm going to make 4, attach them to my body the same way, and then I'll show you once we're done. Here we are at the end of my body where I attached the legs. And this is what my piece will look like at the end. So all 3 evolutions, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur, are going to look like this at the very end. So we're going to continue with Bulbasaur now, and we're going to start making the seed. So the seed is going to be this green part here. It's very easy to make. We're going to make it now. So you're going to take your green. For the seed, we're going to start off with 4 single crochet into a magic ring. So again, magic ring, take your 2 fingers, yarn over once, twice. Take your hook, go underneath the first, pull the second one through. Pull it through, hold everything there. Like this. And chain to secure. Now insert your hook into the loop and do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to just pull the tail, and that secures our loop. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the first stitch of the next round. For round 2, we're going to do increase and then single crochet, and that's going to be your pattern all the way around. So the first stitch, we are going to do an increase, so that's 2 single crochet into this same stitch, 1 and 2. The second stitch, we are going to do a single crochet into there. The third stitch, we're going to do an increase, so that's 1 single crochet and 2 single crochet. And the fourth and final stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. Okay. So now we should have 6 stitches all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our beginning stitch of the round. For round 3, we are going to do an increase. So we are going to do 2 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So 1, 2 into the first, second stitch, 3 and 4, the third stitch, 5 and 6, the fourth stitch, 7
and 8, fifth stitch, 9 and 10, and the sixth and final stitch right here,
11 and 12. Okay, now we're going to have 12 stitches all the way around. Start to flip our thing inside out. Alright, and now for round 4. So at this point we're going to start marking our rounds. For round 4, into our first single crochet, the pattern is single crochet increase. So into the first single crochet here, 1 single crochet. Into the second single crochet, increase. 1 and 2, and that's going to be the pattern. The next stitch, single crochet, and the next one, increase. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, all the way around. Okay, so the next one, single crochet, and then the next one, an increase. 1 and 2. So that's going to be the pattern all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of this round. Here we are at the end of round 4. You're going to have 18 stitches all the way around. Now we're going to move our stitch marker over, and into the first stitch of the round, we're just going to do single crochet. And that's going to be the pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. For round 5 and for round 6. Okay, so I'm going to meet you at the end of round 6, where you're going to have still 18 single crochet. So here we are at the end of round 6. We have 18 stitches all the way around. This is what my piece will look like. At this point, I'm going to teach you how to count your rounds when you do a magic ring. So at the beginning, when we did the body and we did the head, we started with a chain 4, and then we started working in a circle. With this, remember, we did the magic ring to start it off where we wrapped it twice around, right? And here, remember when we counted with the circle here and then the line. The line is 1, then the circle, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. With the magic ring, it's slightly different in the way we count the rounds. So here's the circle. This is the right side. So we're just going to follow the circle like the yellow brick road until we get to the center. Okay, so here's the circle and the center is here. And from the center, you're going to again count the bumps. So here's the center. You want to count outward from the center piece. 1 is the center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how we know that we've completed 6 rounds so far. The reason we want to count it from this very center piece here, outward, is because if we count someplace like here, here's the center, and we count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It gives us a wrong count. You see, let me show you again. Here's the center. If we count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's wrong. That's why we want to go all the way to the very center, to where it starts, and count outward from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how you're going to get an accurate count using the magic ring. Okay, so unlike the thing that we did here with the chain where we have the line in the middle, there is no line in the middle. With this, there's no line in the middle. That's how we count the magic circle in comparison to this method here. So 2 different methods because it started in 2 different ways. All right, so that's how you count using the magic ring. So at the end of round 6, as I said, you're going to have 18 stitches all the way around. For round 7, we are going to do into the first single crochet, 1 single crochet, followed by, in the second and third, a decrease. And remember, a decrease, once again, is into the front loop from the bottom up, insert your hook, and then go from the bottom up into the second stitch, into the front loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and that's going to be the pattern all the way around. Single crochet, decrease. Let's do it again. Into the next stitch is 1 single crochet into both loops like normal. And then for a decrease, the next 2 stitches a decrease into the front loop from the bottom up, into the front loop from the bottom up, into the next stitch as well. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and that's going to be the pattern all the way around. Single crochet, followed by a decrease. So I'm going to meet you at the end of this round. Here we are at the end of this round. You're going to have 12 stitches all the way around. At this point, we're going to stick our loose tail inside the body here and pull it tight a little bit just to close off the center ring here. Make sure that there's no hole in the center, and we're just going to stick it in. And at this point as well, we're going to start to stuff the body. So here we are, I've stuffed the body, and now we're going to work on the next round, round 8. Okay, so here's our first stitch of the round. So at this point, because the body, when the stuffing, I want to just keep the stuffing pushed down. And for round 8. So for round 8, we're just going to do 6 decreases all the way around. So into the first stitch here, the front loop, pick up your stitch. Into the second stitch, your front loop, pick up your stitch, and complete a decrease. So it's 1. The next one, 2,
5 and
Okay, you're going to take out your stitch marker. You're going to have 6 stitches all the way around. And we're just going to sew it up like how we did before. So we're going to cut the tail, pull the loop through, attach your needle to your tail, and we're just going to, once again, into the front loop, sew back and forth, back and forth. So into the first one from the bottom up, into the second one top down. Okay, like this, then we're just going to pull it tight. It's going to close it off. Okay, so once you're done tying it up, do not stick it out of the other side of the bulb, just because we want the tail still, because we're going to use the tail to sew to the body. So just pull it tight. So we're just going to place the bulb onto the body where we want it to be, and we're just going to start sewing it. So into the body here. And then into the bulb. Into the body and into the bulb. Okay, so we're just going to keep sewing it. And once you're done sewing it, you're just going to stick the thread into the body here and secure it. Okay, make sure it's good before you tie it off. And then you are good to go, and we're done attaching the bulb to the body. Cut it off, stick it in, and let's move on to the face and the rest of the embellishments. So here we are, we're ready to do the eyes now. For the eyes, I just used the same yarn as the body and the head, just in black. Okay, so here is my yarn. I attached it to my tapestry needle, and we're just going to sew it in. So the way I'm sewing it in is I'm finding my stitch in the middle here. I would say it's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, on row 7. So one's here and one's here, and it's about 3 stitches apart. So what you're going to do is take your needle, stick it away from the body, away from the eye here, and into where the eye comes out. Pull it through. Then you're going to go into the next section of the eye, so the eye fits around this loop, and we're going to sew it around there. Okay, so we're going to do it 3 times, 3 or 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll just do it 4 times. And the last time you want to stick it and then go to where your other eye would be located. So there's my other eye. And I'm just going to pull it out there, like that. Okay, so one eye is complete, and we have, going to do the same thing for the next eye. 1, 2, 3, and the last one 4, and after 4 you're just going to stick it out of the body. Pull, make sure they're as even as possible. Then you're just going to cut it. At this point I decided to use some white paint to the eyes, just 2 dots, to make it look better. Okay. As for the nose, we're going to apply it the same way. We're going to sew it in the same way. The only difference is that instead of using the same size thread we use for the eyes, we're going to use regular sewing thread with a regular sewing needle, just to sew it in, just so that it's smaller than the thickness of the eyes. Okay, so that's the nose. And then we're just going to add some spots. So the spots are in this turquoise color, a little bit darker than the body. We're going to add 2 of them here. We're going to add 1 to the side and 1 to the other side. We're going to sew it the exact same way. So here's my piece. In terms of the thread, I use crochet thread for the darker spots. If you don't have crochet thread, you can use regular sewing thread as well with a regular sewing needle. But because I had the crochet thread, I decided to use this. So we're just going to apply the spots on the forehead in 2 locations. So one's going to be here. So I'll show you. We'll just go into the body, pull it through, and go on an angle. So you want to go on an angle here. The next one. You want to go out the next part once you're finished one, and on an angle on the other. And you just want to close up the gap here by just sewing it. Okay, something like that. And then if you have enough string, just go inside here and pull it through the other area where we want to put it, which is here. And again, sew on an angle for the next dot. Something like that. Try and avoid hooking onto the stuffing on the inside. I'm going to have to fix mine. Now you're going to do the same thing for the 2 sides here, one here, and instead of going this way, I decided to sew horizontally like that. One here and one here, and then that'll give you your 2 dots on this side, and I'll show you when we're done. Here we are after we finished attaching the spots, 1 and 2, and I added the white to the eyes, and this is what our piece looks like at the very end. Okay, So now we've finished Bulbasaur. At this point you can attach your keychain if you desire, but if not, Bulbasaur is complete. Now let's move on to Ivysaur.